Hey everybody, welcome to Mr. Blackwell's not so live session. Yeah, that's right. I am. This is a recording, recorded in front of a live studio audience. I wish I could put that right there, but I don't have any of my video editing stuff here on this computer. Anyway, I just want to say, um, first of all, I really am sorry that I could not be there to do these next three sessions with you um, live. But unfortunately, that's one of those things, a part of life where we lose family members. And my grandfather was very important to me. Was a great man in my life, and yeah. So um, I do want to say thank you so much for all of your sympathy and your support and your prayers and your thoughts. Meant so much to me that you guys sent it my way. And yeah, meant a lot to my family as well. So, a couple of things. Because of that, unfortunately, you did not get the PowerPoint. I sent it on Thursday late. And for whatever reason, I think my internet cut out. And because my internet cut out, um, the PowerPoint didn't send. And also because we got up at like 5 in the morning on Friday to leave to come to Texas. I didn't check my email until, and actually I didn't check my email until yesterday um, in the evening. So for those of you, don't worry about that PowerPoint. I'll send it out, or I'll actually go over what it was about um, later this week, probably next live session, because it was something that was very interactive in class. Um, Sorry, I've been itching my nose a lot because being here in East Texas has really brought out my allergies. So if I sneeze or anything like that, I apologize. Hopefully that won't happen. But anyway, um, so what we're going to talk about today um, is that we're going to do a little introduction to history. So over the next 3 days, I'm going to have different specific sessions. In fact, let me go ahead and I'll share my screen with you, and that way we can go ahead and look at the PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you, and I'll even get fancy with it here. Okay, so introduction to history class. This is my class. This will be for Monday, August 6th, 2018. Today we will discuss what you will be learning in early world history this year. So I can statement, I can actively participate in today's live history class. While this class is not live, um, it is it is going to count for attendance. So you need to watch this video. There will be a form for you to fill out um, later on after this is over, and you will fill that out, and that will count for your attendance for the day. Okay. All right. So history. Let's check the checklist. Um, so Monday, introduction to history class. No assignments. The actual assignments you will have will be a form to fill out. That way you will have all of that. That way I can grab attendance for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tuesday, we'll have some more history class how-tos and actually talk a little bit about Zoom. I know that a lot of you had Miss Cooper last year, and I know that Miss Cooper used Zoom in her math class. Well, been asked to be a part of the pilot class for that. So Mr. Blackwell's history class will take place on Zoom, and we'll get into that quickly. So be sure to look at the weekly checklist to keep up to date on assignments, announcements, and more. So on Wednesday, we will also have kind of an introduction to the OMS a little bit more. For those of you that still have questions, we can do a Q&A. You can send me questions and all of that throughout the week. I do know and realize that there are some issues with getting into art. I did hear about that. I saw your emails. And without me being there, and when I get back, you might even shoot an email to maybe one of the other teachers, just to find out if they might be able to help you a little bit quicker than I can, without seeing that. But then on Thursday, we're going to do a training pod. So it'll be, you will have, it'll be the other two teachers or other three teachers on our pod, because I'll still be traveling or recuperating from the travel. So it'll be at 9 Central and 10 Eastern time on Thursday. It is required. The Ames Web assessment is going to be postponed. That is revised from 8/4/18. You will still be required to attend Thursday's training session, but the Ames Web assessment has been postponed. Okay, so that's kind of what we've got going on this week. So what do you remember about 5th grade social studies? Right now, I want you to take a couple minutes, go ahead and pause this video, and I want you to discuss with your LC or anybody around you what you remember most about 5th grade social studies. Okay, so the big thing, the big picture that I want you to get from that is that you guys studied U.S. history, right? And it's, I guess, relatively modern U.S. history. This year's going to be completely different. And now for something completely different. That's right. We are actually going to be talking about early world history. So I want you to take a minute. Based on these images, what do you think some of the big differences will be compared to what you studied last year? Go ahead and hit pause and discuss this with the people around you. Okay, so now that you're back. So the main differences are going to be your location. While the United States is well over 200 years old, that age, the age of our wonderful, wonderful country, is relatively young compared to a lot of the countries in the world. So we are going to be traveling back in time. We're going to be traveling to the other side of the world. In fact, if you look here, this is where you are. And actually, we're actually probably closer to right over here than right here. This is actually where I am here. And that's probably in Texas somewhere. But you guys are over here in Tennessee, where we're going to be discussing, or you were discussing over here, the United States, U.S. history. This is where we're going to be throughout the year. We're going to be in Egypt, in Mesopotamia, in ancient Israel. We're going to discuss ancient India. We're going to discuss ancient China and ancient Greece and ancient Rome. These are all huge, huge parts of our history. In fact, it's really exciting that we will be covering so many different civilizations, which I'll tell you this, can be overwhelming, but don't worry. Mr. Blackwell is going to be here for you all semester long and help you get through it. It sounds like it's a lot, but we're going to connect it to where you will be able to understand it and not worry about any of it in the world, okay? I'm going to be here for you, so don't fret and understand that we will have a lot of fun. Okay, so next, let's talk about time. We talked about that we're traveling to a different time. Let's see what time we're headed to. So we're going to be discussing many different times. We're going to start off the year with human origins in the Neolithic age. There are many different, and you guys probably have different, or have heard different theories on when time began and how it began, and that always stands for great conversations. But yeah, so we're going to talk about human origins and Neolithic age, and we'll touch base on that one. But really, we're going to spend more time and focus on what led to um, civilization, right? Um, and so, with that civilization came Mesopotamia being the first civilization. We're going to start there. We're going to discuss 3,500 to 1,200 BC, and we're going to discuss ancient. From there, we'll talk about ancient Egypt from 3,000 to 1,200 BC, and ancient India and ancient China, relatively in that same time period. Ancient Israel, we're going to be from 2000 BC all the way to 70 AD. Some of you may have some minor knowledge about ancient Israel, um, and that's always a fun time to talk about. Um, Ancient Greece, we're going to discuss from 800 to 300 BC. And then from there, we're going to discuss ancient Rome from 500 BC to 500 AD, right? And so, with those different time periods, this is what the school year is going to look like. All right. So, I want you to understand what topic I want you to think about which of these topics you're going to be most excited about. So first off, we're going to start the year in August and September up till our first quarter. Through our first quarter, we're going to talk about the human origins. We're going to talk about the Neolithic age. We're going to talk about Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt and discuss pyramids and pharaohs. And we're going to talk about Mesopotamia on the Tigris and the Euphrates and where that became and the origins of humanity and why people actually started settling down and becoming civilizations and starting civilizations and why that was a very important part of our history, right? And then from there, we're going to move after that first quarter, which we have it wrapped up in a nice, neat little break there where you've got your fall break in October. And then when we come back from fall break, we're going to talk about ancient India and ancient China and how they kind of are interwoven. And this is me just doing a little dance right here. So, but, or you can see, it weaves together. But anyway, the different, we'll discuss some of the religions that led to other religions in that time frame. And then when we're finished there, then we'll have our little break, mid-year break there around Christmas. Time there, that winter break. And then when we come back from that winter break, it'll be January and February. We'll discuss ancient Israel and Greece, right? And we'll talk about ancient Israel. We'll discuss, the importance there of three major religions in that started in that area there. We'll talk about Greece and the importance of Greece. And Greece is one of my favorite time periods to discuss because that's kind of where the beginning of Western civilization started, right? And so that's a really fun kind of time to talk about like certain things and some cool things like in ancient India, like this, just some fun facts right now, all right? Ancient India, it was called the Indus Valley civilization. That was one of the first civilizations that had indoor plumbing, right? Like flushable toilets and stuff like that. And that crazy? And that was like thousands upon thousands of years ago before, we were, it still took us quite a while before we got into that, right? Then we have ancient Rome, and we talk about the importance of ancient Rome on Western civilization and the importance and what we have in common, with their government. And then from there, we'll talk about, we'll have a little review. So after that, January, February, we'll have another week or two, which we'll talk about ancient Rome. And then we'll have our spring break, right? And then we come back there. It'll still be March and April, and we'll talk about, we'll review for TN Ready, and then we'll have our TN Ready test. And then in May, we'll start talking about seventh grade history. And the cool part about seventh grade history is that it's a continuation of sixth grade history. So we start in ancient civilizations, we move up to ancient Rome, and the fall of ancient Rome. And then from there in seventh grade, you pick up where we left off and then move to medieval type stuff and things there. But I teach sixth grade history, so that's what we're going to focus on this year. Don't want to get us too far ahead of anything, right? So these are some of the ways that we will learn early world history, okay? So most important thing that I cannot express it enough, you need to be in live classes. I know it's kind of ironic hearing this from a recording, but trust me on this, live classes is where you're going to get your interaction with other students. It's going to be where you get your interaction with your favorite history teacher from sixth grade. It's where you're going to get your interaction with the work, where you will see it and you will be able to ask questions and you will be able to test your own knowledge and things like that. So above everything else, you want to be in the live Class Connect sessions. First of all, it's required for attendance, right? Second of all, it's where you're going to get the meat of the information about ancient civilization. From there, I will also assign some reading. Sometimes I'll have you read stuff ahead of time before it gets to us. Sometimes I'll have you read it the day of, like for homework or whatever. But yes, you need that textbook. And then finally, and this is kind of the order in which it's of its importance, there will be the history course. There will be times when we assign certain things. A lot of the work and the assignments that you do in history with us is going to be made up assignments or assignments made by me or Miss Grigsby, who is the other team's history teacher. Now, this history course, they do have some good supplemental stuff that will kind of align itself with what we're teaching. But the main thing that I want you to do, and in fact, I do this, and you guys may have seen, if you saw the video last year, you saw me when I came in close. I said, this is where you'll know that I'm talking about something super important that I want you to understand completely. You need to be in live Class Connect. I don't care about last year. I know that there are a few of you that were not a part of it very much, or maybe you were a part of it last year and maybe you just, didn't come to class. Okay. It's very important that you are in the live Class Connect. Okay. I don't want to have this conversation, 20 times throughout the year. Okay. I really, really need you here. And while you are in live Class Connects, I need you participating. Studies show that when you participate and you try in class, there will be significant growth throughout the year. You will see your brain grow. You will see your grades grow. You will see things grow, right? All right. So anyway, that's how you need to go. And we'll talk about where to go later this week as well. But here, side note, if you did not receive these materials, please contact your homeroom teacher today, okay? So if you did not receive these two books, you got the textbook and you got your student guide. The textbook is going to be the actual book where we read from. We get a lot of our information from. The student guide, there will be some assignments in there, but there will also be just a good extra supplemental material to help you understand the information even better. Okay? Now, I know it's so hard to say goodbye. Most of you probably don't even know that song, but ask your parents. It's a little Boys to Men for you. But anyway, but seriously, it's time for me to go. It's time for you guys to go. There will be a link for you to follow in the email that I send with this link. that'll be to a Google form for you to fill out. That is important because if you don't fill that out, you won't get credit for attendance today. Okay, so watch the video. Number one. Watch the video. Number two, fill out the form. And number three, I don't know. Keep thinking about me and as I travel, show up tomorrow. There you go. There's number three. Show up tomorrow. So anyway, tomorrow we will discuss some history class norms and how-tos. And if you have any other emails or if you have anything, email me with any questions or concerns. If it's pressing, if it's super important and you need the information today, shoot an email to one of your other teachers and let them know the situation. Tell them that you're in Mr. Blackwell's homeroom class, and they will answer it. If you have a homeroom teacher that's not me, then you just send that email to them, okay? All right? You guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow.